that's a nice segue into our next question, which is, have you been surprised specifically by our Zoom style of worship and gathering? Has there been anything that you have really liked or disliked that you would not necessarily have thought of prior to that happening? And we'll popcorn it. How about let's go Melissa first.
I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I sort of got used to watching it on Facebook in the hospital. I think it's a great tool. I think it's better than nothing, but it just doesn't cut the mustard when it comes to actually being there. I think it's a great tool, but
yeah,
I cannot wait till that first Sunday back.
Okay, sure. How about you, Amanda?
So I found one thing that I do really enjoy is getting to incorporate worship into my daily life. So or Sunday morning, it's having that cup of coffee, which we do have in the sanctuary, but in my own living room, it feels good, but I'm so glad to trade it when we're able to. That's me trying to find the silver lining, but yeah. I'll be so glad to be back together. But that was a pleasant surprise. And some of the weeknight things, the not having a commute, the commute does stand in my way of getting to some of those after work. So it's made some things a bit more accessible.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Howell?
Well, I keep thinking how fortunate we are to have this capability. If this had happened a few years ago, we wouldn't have been able to have any kind of interaction with one another. So we're very fortunate. But it's like the difference between attending a football game in person or watching a football game on TV. It's just not the same experience.
Yeah, that's a great point. And how about you, Susan?
Oh, thanks to Howell for making that positive remark about how we can do it today because of technology. For me, there are a lot of distractions here at home, and everybody knows I'm a visual person. So being in the sanctuary to focus on the creation window or the display on the communion table or faces, being a choir member and being able to look out from the chancel out into the congregation during the service and seeing the responses to what's sung and read and preached is priceless to me. So I'm getting not any of that from the virtual experience, except I have very much appreciated the visuals that you've included. It's not just all auditory. You've included the photos that are part of things and the worship bulletin that has a photo on the front. So those, and Catherine usually does the elements or the symbols of worship. So I've appreciated that.
Yeah, it's been strange as a staff. I think the first few weeks we were just excited to be able to sustain any form of church, and now that we've been a few weeks past that, I think the newness of Zoom has worn off, and so we're less excited about just being able to connect, and now we have some higher expectations about how we make that user experience better. I will say almost the opposite, though, from your experience of sitting in the choir. This is one of the few times, because Catherine and I are running the meeting, we see in real time exactly who is logged in and who is logged out, and that sort of that's not usually where my primary focus is on a Sunday morning, paying attention to who's gathered. And so that's been nice. I'll say the other thing is I had really low expectations for Holy Week, and I think some of it is that's one of the most meaningful seasons, obviously, for most of us, but that sort of is this really going to be the same, doing a communion supper virtually or doing a Good Friday service or doing Easter? And I was, I think I was really surprised how present of a spirit there was and an energy and maybe that's the thing. Maybe if we just set really low expectations for for worship, we surpass them more often than not. But I think that would be the one thing I would say that I've been pleasantly surprised with about Zoom is I did not have exceedingly high expectations for being connected and for feeling for something to be emotive, and I have been surprised that has not necessarily been the case. And like Melissa said, to see a grid of 25 people waving at you is pretty cool. And then one other thing I would say, which Ruth and I talked a little bit about this. I think the folks at Grove Lane have experienced something similar. I am very grateful for the size of our congregation, because if we were a little bit larger, we would not be able to do this. And I think Zoom was the best option in terms of being able to go live, being able to see everybody, let people connect, and be as unintrusive and safe as possible. So I'm with you. It hasn't been perfect. I'm ready to get back to being us again.